and holidays don't always go together. This time of year can be lonely, depressing, and stressful for many. But there are ways to make this a little easier, and help is always available. Jenna Lynn-Juvek is an outpatient clinician at Forest View Hospital, here to talk about how we can all be well this season. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me and having me on.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the feelings that people can experience this time of year and why it's so hard for many.
Yeah, so this can be a time where people experience a lot of isolation, increased levels of stress, and just depression, anxiety, and it can be for a number of different reasons. It could be because of the family dynamics one has. So obviously this time of year can bring up hard memories of our loved ones that are no longer here with us. And it can also exacerbate feelings of isolation for those that maybe aren't super close with their family, or they have conflict within their family as well.
So how do you recognize when maybe this is a little too much for either yourself or someone you love? What are some signs?
Yeah, so I always come back to warning signs. So we all have a mental health. So we all have our very own personal brand of warning signs. And these can look like different changes in our behavior. It could be physical symptoms. It could also be like a change in mood. And these can be indicators of our own mental health decline. So the faster that we identify our own warning signs, the faster we can seek help or incorporate coping skills or do what we have to do to get back to our regular functioning.
Wonderful. And let's talk about those coping skills. What are some things that people can put kind of in their toolbox so that they can pull them out when they need them, particularly this time of year?
Yeah, I'm big on physical activity, so just going for a walk. It doesn't have to be like lifting super heavy weights, just moving your body. Journaling, reading, reaching out to our friends and family can go a super long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important too. I think, we all kind of get consumed by ourselves, but I think reaching out to other people not only helps us, but helps them as well, right? You can help all your friends and family get through this time, with a little bit of wellness and care. Talk about boundaries, because I think that's also something that's really, really hard. We want to say yes to everything, and that can make life very hard for us.
Yes, and I can say this is a topic that comes up all the time in the hospital, regardless of it being the holidays or not. It can be incredibly challenging to set boundaries with the ones that we hold closest to us. So I always say the first tip is learning how to say no. And being able to sit with that uncomfortable feeling of, letting somebody know we've hit our limits. And then also I recommend planning ahead so that when you deliver those boundaries to your loved ones, they're clear, they're respectful, and your family is going to be more receptive to, respect those boundaries.
Yeah. And talk to us about how people can make that feel okay for them, because I think that's really, really, really hard to be able to decide, number one, what boundaries you need to set to make yourself feel better, and number two, how to implement that with the people you love.
Yeah, I always say, like I said previously, being able to feel uncomfortable sitting with those feelings, but also remembering that you can always change your boundaries. They don't have to be rigid. You can always come back to them, reevaluate them. You can seek professional support to be able to bounce those boundaries off of yourself and your therapist or your friends and your family. And like I said, just because you set a certain boundary doesn't mean it has to be throughout your entire lifetime.
There you go. Yeah, they always are changing. And how would someone know that when it's time to reach out for professional help, when their own coping strategies aren't cutting it anymore?
Yeah, like I said, warning signs. So if we notice maybe we're drinking more alcohol or we're using more substances, maybe if we're not sleeping as well, maybe if we are having a decreased ability to tolerate our stress, like of our daily lives, those could be all warning signs of us maybe requiring some professional support for the time being.
Sure. All right. And then any other advice on getting people through the holidays and, really enjoying and trying to embrace the time even when it's difficult?
Yeah, I would definitely say honing in on those things that genuinely bring you joy. So those holiday traditions that you like, whether it's watching holiday movies, baking cookies, spending time with your pets even, prioritizing that, and then also just being intentional about writing it down or even just verbalizing what we're thankful for, so that we can really stop focusing on making it perfect and instead finding the joy in the small, simple moments and cultivating our sense of inner peace.
Yeah, pick and choose those things that you really, really love about this season. Wonderful. And of course, if people feel like they do need help and if this has gone too far, they can always reach out to you guys.
Yep, we are currently accepting new patients, adult and adolescent, in our outpatient medication management clinic, our intensive outpatient program, partial hospitalization program, and also our inpatient services as well.
All right, many, many different levels at Forest View. ForestViewHospital.com for more information. And always, you can give them a call, 616-942-9610. We'll be right back.